let's have a look. What do we have? We have other challenges now. The one with 8+2 interest in time control. So I will accept this one to start with, because I want to play a slightly longer game. And I'm playing with black pieces again. All right, so let's try e5 here. Really wondering what my opponent prefers against. e5. Ruy Lopez. Now the question is if it is a Ruy Lopez exchanged or classic one with bishop a4. Later. So now it goes to f6 now. Continuing with the developments, as you can see, I'm not afraid of bishop c6 because I'm also counter-attacking. So e4 is under pressure. c3. Instead of playing rook to e1, that is pretty strange to me. So I have a feeling that I can just take on e4 now, right? Yeah, I can just take the pawn. Let's do it. We could have probably included some other moves like b5, but in that case, bishop just goes back to c2, right? If I play b5 and protects the pawn on e4. So I think that is right. Just take it on e4 immediately. If rook attacks the knight, then we can go to c5 with the tempo. And if white wants to regain the material, then most likely white has to take on c6, which gives me bishop's pair, which is quite pleasant. Right? Right. And pay attention that after knight to c5, I also intend to try to exploit the weakness of this square, which was created right after white played c3. Of course, normally it's easily fixed with the help of d4 or something, but it's slightly different position that deviates from normal. So we'll see. For now, I have two positional threats. So just to move the knight to d3, blockading pawn d2 and making the development of the bishop quite hard, at the same time protecting e5 and attacking the rook and the pawn f2. And another positional threat is just to grab the Spanish bishop to exchange it for my knight, which is quite annoying for white as well, because I will have a pair of bishops for nothing. So probably bishop takes c6 is an option, in which case I will also have a pair of bishops, but at least my pawn structure will be a bit damaged. So I believe that is the thing white should consider seriously, because anything else just doesn't look good to me. What is also great here, although e-file is being opened, my king is just one move away from castling, which means I'm just completely fine. Okay, d4, I will just grab the bishop. Not even calculating ed4 is a waste of time, because after ed4, you just open the e-file. That is exactly what white wants. Why would I help white in this position? I would just grab the bishop. Something that I wanted to do anyway. Now I have a feeling that I can win some additional material, right? So my both knights are attacked. I can even simply castle right now, so white would decide which knight to take, but it's too exotic. I guess the other great way for me to continue is just to take on b2 with the tempo, winning one more pawn, and then just stepping back with the knight to b8, then castling, then d6, gradually developing the rest of the pieces. But yeah, still have an extra pawn and having a pair of bishops and better pawn structure. So everything's fine, I guess. Knight b8 looks, yeah, not very cool. Looks not active whatsoever, but it's a temporary thing, right? Temporarily bad piece. It takes just 3 moves, I think, at worst, to reactivate it, so that's fine. We get much more at the price of that temporarily passive piece. As I said before, pair of bishops extra pawn and better pawn structure, so it's already enough. Good enough for me. Okay, so white is thinking knight b2 is a tempo move attacking the queen, so white cannot take on c6. So the question, why did you sack the knight? Well, it was hand in a4 as well as the knight on c6, so I could not save both anyway. So one would drop. And I decided just to, keep this one, because that one on a4 was too vulnerable to me. Although I would have played knight b8 immediately, but in that case, white would have captured on a4, and I wouldn't get that b2 pawn. That's the idea. So it's not a sacrifice. I already had the extra minor piece. So that's the thing. Yeah, so I do believe white doesn't have sufficient compensation here. So, yeah. I guess black's future is quite optimistic here. Let's just get there. Going away from the e-file, so it was, in my opinion, the last source of danger. Now c4, of course, creates some threats potential on this diagonal. That's why I want to get rid of that bishop as soon as possible. The folks that joined, hello, I'm really happy you're here. Thanks a lot for joining. Now, I guess that is the way to go, preventing the checkmate, simplifying the position a bit. But there are some problems actually in this approach, because now after bishop captures, bishop queen captures, I don't have that easy access to d7, although I may always just get back with the queen and then develop my knight through d7. The main idea now is just to prevent white's attack on the king side, which means white will no longer have serious possibilities to create some threats on the king side, because that bishop was really, really active. Now we are exchanging it. White is thinking, but I believe that if white doesn't take on f6 right now, I'll just play knight d7, knight e5 quickly, and it will be even worse for white compared to capturing my bishop. I understand that naturally white wants to keep as many pieces as possible to have better chances to organize the attack. Because without the attack on the king side, white is just a pawn down, right? So that's the only chance. Okay, knight to c3 was played. Now look, the knight is sort of pinned now. It cannot really get through. Much more active than it is at the moment, because I will grab the bishop, which gives me some additional time. And as I said, in this situation, I will just play knight to d7 and bring the knight to e5, let's say, or maybe to b6, attacking c4. So there are different options now for me. It's also possible to play something like g6, bishop g7, and knight f6, also an option. So there is a question, how many people do you have in line for a game? For now, just 3 challenges. So not too many, I would say. Now let's bring the knight to e5 quickly. Activating it, attacking the queen, and the weak c4. Even if I don't win a pawn, and I think I don't win a pawn, I have other options. For example, after queen f4, I can just jump to d3, attacking the queen and grabbing that bishop with the knight. I think queen to f4 was sort of decisive mistake. Well, looks like a decisive mistake to me. Because now this position should be absolutely winning for black. Extra pawn, and now the bishop controls dark squares that are super weakened in white's camp. The only question is, should I play b5 now, or just, skip it for now and focus on activating other pieces? I don't know. There are many options. Let's play rook to e8, simple. Move. And now just queen to d7, I guess. Yeah, looks good. Idea is simple. I just want to exchange everything gradually. That's it. b7 cannot be captured, I believe, because of the knight, which is hanging on c3. If white decides to capture everything on e8, then there will be a threat of queen e1 checkmate. It doesn't quite work for white either. So the last source of danger for black here is the back rank, so we have to think about it. Probably now it's a good moment to play something like g6 or h6, I don't know. Or maybe we should just continue with that plan of simplification and see what white is doing with that, because I believe white's position is just getting worse and worse because of that. Oops. I think I blundered something like queen f5. I didn't consider that move. Maybe it was not that dangerous. Well, basically rook e2, queen d7, rook e1. Yeah, white also has a bad back rank. So we're good here because of it. So let's say bishop d4. Making the bishop slightly more active here. Exerting some pressure on f2. But now it really feels like a great time to make a move like, I don't know, h6, maybe g6. Because it really feels like, you know, my king is bad here. It's suffering. Where to put the bishop? Where to put the bishop? Let's put it on b6 here. Feels like a safe position, but now it's far away from the king side, which is potentially a problem. So there is a threat of knight f6 here, it's clear. Can we deal with it? King f8, I think. Should be just fine. Protecting the rook and also preventing this knight f6. King to f1. All right. Now there are no checks, I believe, so we can improve a queen. And for example, something like that looks pretty good to me. There is a threat of queen a1, so I think white is forced to exchange queens. And we have extra material, so we're getting to the goal gradually, which is to convert this extra material. And the normal way to do that is usually through the simplification. So the ideal scenario is just to exchange all the pieces and then to have king and pawn ending. Absolutely winning because of the extra pawn. Sometimes, of course, you don't need it and you can just do everything, still having other pieces on the board as well. Yeah, now we control a lot. Literally the whole board. And that's great. Looks really good. Let's prevent h5. I think h5 deserves some attention for white. Knight to h1. Pretty passive. But okay, it's hard to criticize what position is. Quite bad. I think I will just exchange everything, because it's a winning king and pawn ending. Well, it should be at least. Didn't calculate that, but yeah, I guess it should be winning somehow. Okay. I think g3 was the right way to do that, because now I have no problems with getting closer, then undermining c4 if it's needed, because here it's not even needed. I'm just getting for that pawn. And yeah, now it's lost for white completely. All right. Just pushing pawns towards the promotion squares. No way for white to survive it. What is the checkmate here? Do I need... Well, all the pawns are actually blockaded, so I have to be careful about the stalemate, right? So Fuchs says, that's why I can't find the resign button. Well, practically there is still a chance that I would fail to checkmate white here, but well, I don't know. What is the shortest way for checkmate? Like into d3, I guess. No, not really. It wasn't that. King c4 is a stalemate, king c3 is a stalemate. Be careful, Andrey. It's definitely not the shortest way to checkmate, but it's equally efficient, I guess. And now I have all sorts of checkmates here. What is the easiest? What is the best one? Like this one. All right. So I think I have explained everything during the game. It was a pretty long one with a nice time control. So what was white's problem here? First of all, whenever I play knight at f6, I'm actually attacking the pawn. So after castling, bishop e7, c3 is not the right move in my opinion. So rook e1 is the right one. Protecting the pawn, because after c3 I just take it. All right. I would have expected something like bishop c6 followed by knight e5 or maybe d4 right now, before I even managed to play knight to c5. So in this particular case, rook e1 is just too slow, because after knight to c5, yeah, I'm already forcing you to exchange bishops or something. And if you take there, I just capture with the pawn, and well, I have pair of bishops. Position is probably materially balanced, but still, you know, you're failing to achieve anything in the center here, I believe.